Hey guys! So I've done a little rearranging. I moved my um, desk to another side of the room. So, uh, yeah, so you have a different bit of scenery in the background. All right, so Basketball Wives LA came on last night. Um, Jackie and this, getting married every year, and then her mom is sick, and she's, worried that her mom may not be able to attend the re-wedding. And my thing is, if you know your mom is sick, why not put your efforts in that and not, go forth with this little wedding. Okay, because and I don't think I did enough re's, but you get the drift. I mean, it just seems like her priorities are not where they need to be. Um, Also, people were dogging out her sister and the teeth situation. But the thing is, and y'all should know this from Basketball Wives, the original in Miami. Evelyn's family, didn't appear to be living the best up in New York, while she's, doing all this flossing and whatever in Miami. Just because you have money, doesn't mean that you're going to share the wealth. Okay? Or even some people in your family may not even want it. Like with Evelyn's mom, maybe she was happy living where she lived. And even if Evelyn offered to move her somewhere else, she didn't want to go. Maybe her sister is fine, like that. Yeah, I don't know. I know personally, if my sister's grill looked like that and I had money, like, she would be at the next available dentist appointment. Like, but that's me. Everybody doesn't operate that way. So, hey. The whole acting stank with Drea with her gift. I mean, everybody was giving raunchy gifts. That's what you do at bachelorette parties. I just felt that they were acting really mean girlish with Drea because it was unnecessary. Imani and the whole discussion with Drea, I don't know who she thinks she is, but, frankly, whatever has gone on with Drea is her business, and Imani has no right to be questioning her or anything of that nature. Also, it has been stated that Imani herself has a child that she did not take care of. Her oldest allegedly was living with other people, not with her, other family members. And also, because I was wondering what the issue was with him, with Drea being a stripper. And allegedly, Steve's left Imani for a stripper who he later married. So that's supposedly what happened. So I guess that's why she has such a big issue with strippers, because her man left her for one. But hey. So yeah, but I just don't like the whole, like, having to prove yourself and having to explain yourself. The thing is, if you want to give somebody a chance, you're going to give them a chance. Just the bottom line. And people shouldn't have to explain themselves and walk on eggshells and all of that just to have a friendship. Like, that's ridiculous. They're acting like, this is a sorority and, it's rush and hazing time. I mean, it's ridiculous, the way they're conducting their friendships. let's see, what else? What else was um the makeovers? A mess. Okay, I could have hooked them up, you know, a little better than that, and probably for much less. Yeah, those makeovers were absolute garbage. I was trying to figure out why Jackie's hair was still in that thin ponytail. Yeah, okay. I also watched, let's see, Real Housewives of LA. You know, unfortunately, Taylor's husband, Russell Armstrong, committed suicide. And I don't know how Bravo is going to go about this. You know, they did show the little clip at the beginning of the first episode. I don't know if they're going to edit him out, because I did read that his family is trying to sue, you know, and does not want him shown on the show. So I don't know if Bravo is going to edit it in a way where Russell isn't on the show, and maybe, you know, they just catch scenes where Taylor is talking about the marriage but not necessarily showing him. You know, I don't know. I'm very curious to see how they're going to do that. You know, it's just a sad situation. I did not know that he had other children because she never mentioned them. But he has two sons, an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old, and then, you know, their daughter who's 5. So, you know, he left behind 3 children, which is sad. And, you know, it's just crazy, the pressures of the haves and the have-nots, you know. And I know communism can be bad, you know, but that's one of the things that I respect about some communist governments, is that pretty much, you know, a lot of times everyone is equal. Like, it doesn't matter what your job is, everyone is equal. You know, I think that would help solve so many problems if everyone pretty much had the same thing. Because when you have the have and the have-nots, you know, there are so many pressures and just appearances that people try to have just so they can be part of the elite. And, you know, they're sitting up there because it was said that the house that they were living in was a rental. It wasn't even, they didn't even own it, and the rent was like $9,000 a month, which is absolutely ridiculous to pay for something, period. And then for you not to even own it and you're paying $9,000 a month, like, that is bananas. Like, that's almost $120,000 a year. You know, that is a house, you know, for a lot of people. So I mean, that's just crazy. So, and I can only guess that the financial pressures, the possible lawsuits. I read something about him possibly being involved in some type of litigation, and then, you know, the abuse allegations. You know, I guess it was just too much for him to handle, and it's like, you know, people just need to stop. Like, Taylor needs to know she is not a Vanderpump. Like, her money does not run like that. Like, you can't live like that when you don't have the means, and you don't need to try to, like, floss like you have it when you really don't. You know, maybe you need to try to have some friends that are middle class, or, you know, less, because when you surround yourself with people who are upper class and you're not, of course you're going to feel down on yourself and feel pressure to have more. And it's like, you know, it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. So, you know, that's just my little rant on that. Camille, I try to figure out why she has to sell that house, because that settlement that she got from the divorce is so freaking ridiculous. I'm like, if you love it so much, then buy it. Like, I mean, you got the money. So, I mean, oh, I just love this house. But with the divorce, you know, I have to It has to be sold. Spare me the sob story, honey. You got a hell of a payoff. Okay, so I have no sympathy for her at all as far as having to get rid of properties and things of that nature, because she got a payoff out of this world. So it's like, honey, please spare me, cry me a river. You can afford to buy whatever houses you want, so big freaking whoop. Kyle and her sister, like, I just want them to just get over this whole, you know, foolishness. I mean, it's like, your sisters, like, get over it. I understand, you know, Kyle said some hurtful things, but I mean, clearly there's some truth to it, because I mean, there are some things that her sister is struggling with, you know, whether it's alcohol abuse or drug abuse or what. You know, there are some types of substance abuse issues that she's dealing with, and you know, it's hard to be related to somebody, especially closely related to somebody who is on drugs or abuses alcohol, because it's just, it changes their personality, you know, and it gives them a distorted view of reality. So it's very hard to deal with that. And I'm hoping that they can mend their relationship. The Vanderpumps, you know, I do think that their culture is a lot different than ours, and I do think that, you know, her husband should have said what he said to Taylor. And you know, because everybody deals with issues in different ways, and I think counseling, you know, is a much more healthy way to deal with issues than, you know, some other people deal with issues. So, you know, I did think they were out of line, and I do think she's out of line by trying to defend him. Yes, it's fine that he has his opinion, but in some instances you need to keep it to yourself. So, that's all that I'm going to discuss today, because I have gone on long enough, and I don't feel well. If you can't tell, I'm like stopped up, and like I've been ODing on Airborne and like downing Ricola throat drops. So yeah, and I'll see you guys later.